Hi there, hope you're all doing well. This week I went back to Halo Flashpoint to get one of my red boots painted up. I say the red boot because I'm going to be splitting the boot box into two, half of them being red and half of them being blue. Getting started, I primed in black and used Dusty Skull for the base coat of all of the exposed skin. This takes a few coats since it's a light colour going over black and I don't want the black to show through at all on this one. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. You can also join Discord using the link in the description where you can share anything you have been hobbying on or just hang out and chat. I hope you enjoyed the video and find it useful. With these skin areas being so small and not the focal point of this mini, I'm only going to do a single highlight onto these parts with skeleton bone. I go over all of the areas facing upwards with a scratchy style to give them some fur look. Of course, the skin is too bright at this point for the brute, but the plan is to grab some bone wash and go over all of that skin again. This just gives everything a warm brown look and doesn't stain the highlights too much. Moving up on the mini now, I get the rubber looking undersuit base coated with smoke black. This is a bit of a warm black that will help separate the undersuit from the black armor panels later on. Getting a mid-tone on, I want these parts to stay dark, so use smoke black mixed with a little bit of ash grey, pushing that colour up just a little bit brighter and leaving the darker tones in the recesses. Although I want to keep the undersuit dark, I used pure ash grey to go around the edges of the stitching. This could probably be skipped, but for the brutes there's a lot of panels and shadow recesses that really need to be highlighted. If I don't add an edge highlight, I feel all the areas will just blend together and look like blobs of colour. Before I move on to the armour, there are a few straps mostly around his legs that all get base coated with Druid flesh. These straps are then finished off with a quick highlight using bootstrap brown, just on the edges where the light will be hitting. Getting started on the armour plates, I went with the black plates first. These will get base coated with a mix of black and uniform grey. I leave some of that primer in the deeper recesses just for a little bit of extra depth. To start bringing up the brighter parts that are facing upwards, I just mixed in a little more uniform grey. Just like with the undercoat on the suit, these parts are going to look black, so I won't be taking the bulk of the panels up any further than this. After the highlight has dried, I thinned down some pure uniform grey and began edge highlighting on these parts. Most of the panels get an edge highlight unless they are fully in shadow, although I do focus most of these highlights towards the top of the Mini for the simple reason that they are closer to the light source. Up until this point, all of the brutes will be painted the same way. This is where things will now differ. I start on the red armor panels using a base coat of hull red, giving it a couple of coats. Although hull red does cover pretty well, I need a solid coverage for the brighter reds that are going to be on after this base coat. Pushing up all of the armor panels again, I grab bloody red, probably one of the worst covering reds I own it seems. I don't remember it being this bad. This goes over everything with a couple of coats, which for some reason turns it all to a red glossy look, but that's an issue for later on that I fix with a varnish. To brighten some of the panels a little bit more and just knock back some of that glossy finish while I'm working on it, I used a new paint, orange red from Pro Acryl. Luckily this has a very matte finish and just a small step up from that bloody red, giving me the ability to push the panels facing upwards just a bit more to a brightness that I want. Now that the red is at the brightness that I want, I get the edge highlights started by mixing in some yellow to that orange red. Just like with the black, pretty much everything gets an edge highlight, but I spend more time towards the tops of the panels on the Mini. Just to add a little extra touch on the red panels, I used pure yellow and stippled around the edges facing upwards. I don't fully cover the edges, this is more for that little bit of extra punch just on some of the more sharper edges. While I had this out, I also painted the hazard stripes on the base. The armour is all finished now, so it's time to move on to the metal parts that I gave a once over with gunmetal. On the Mini, this is primarily those strap type things holding the armor panels together. The main use for this paint is on the base. All of the red boots are going to be on my industrial bases that are 3D printed ready for that more industrial style boards that they have. Getting a quick touch up on the grating on the base, I used tinny tin just for a different texture, keeping it a bit more interesting. Finishing up, I washed the base and the metal part using dark tone. You can put this across the black armor and the undersuit, but I think it would tint them a bit too close to each other and end up looking a bit odd. Also, don't mind the bright look on the brute armor, it helps them stand out on the table. And that would be the end of my red brute. I think out of all of my Halo minis so far, he's probably my favourite, at least until the ODST box gets delivered, because ODSTs are just the best and they're going to be my main fire team. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. You can also join Discord, use the link in the description, where you can share anything you have been hobbying on, or just hang out and chat. For those of you who want to pick up Halo Flashpoint or just some painting supplies, there are a couple of affiliate links in the description below. Hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful. If you did, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe for more content. Most importantly though, be kind to each other.